Jam Radio Perth.
Good morning, Perth. You're listening to More Music at Breakfast with Chris Judd. This morning I have a very special guest on the line. She's an international superstar who's performed both here in Australia and overseas. Her name is Dami Im. Good morning, Dami.
Good morning.
You were on the X Factor in 2013 where you won the series. You performed massive tracks including Hero, Bridge Over Troubled Waters and Wrecking Ball. You've also performed around the world including Eurovision. What have been some of your highlights?
Well, my highlights definitely includes something to do with Eurovision and being able to take my music on a global stage, which was amazing. And I guess I think what's happening right now is a bit of a highlight for me where I get to, focus on what my biggest passion is, which is to write my own songs and sing songs that I really love and have a personal connection with.
That's awesome. I've got another question for you. You migrated to Australia from Korea at the age of 9. How have you managed to battle any stereotypes to succeed in the music industry?
Well, I think as an immigrant and growing up here as an immigrant, I think I've grew up in a very small kind of community, mostly surrounded by other Korean immigrants and mainly the Koreans in my church. And it was a very, very small, world for me. And then when I got signed to a major record label, it was all, I was thrown into the deep end all of a sudden. And, it was a world that I wasn't used to and knew anything about. So I guess, that was a big transition for me. But I guess stereotypes, I don't know, but there just wasn't many people of different colors and different backgrounds on mainstream television and in these singing shows, I guess. So when I was on, a lot of people doubted that I would get very far because of that stereotype and what they thought Australians going to vote for. But people voted for me, and here I am. I still have a career, and I'm recording my next album, and so it's been great because I think a lot of other people with different backgrounds, especially, look at me and go, "Oh wow! Like if she can do it, I'm sure I can do something similar as well, better."
Awesome. I have a question that rings true to a little bit of me. What was it like to be the Compassion ambassador?
Well, Compassion, I've been sponsoring through Compassion since I was 17 years old. And yeah, so when I won the X Factor, Noah and my husband said, let's do something with Compassion, like make the most of the platform that we have. And we since then, got to be the Compassion ambassador and visit our sponsor kids in India and Uganda and the Philippines, and it's actually incredible, actually seeing the kids in real life and realizing, oh wow, it's real, and like the help that they get through Compassion is just, it's literally life changing. And so that I feel really happy that I get to work with them. And last year I went back to the Philippines and I went and saw my Compassion child, how they've progressed after 1 year. And, the whole community was just buzzing with hope and excitement. And, just seeing the work of Compassion and the difference it makes has been, it's been so, wow, it's just so inspirational. And, I just love what they do. So bringing more attention to them through what I do, I feel such pride, and it feels like a big honor for me.
Yeah, my wife and I have a little boy that we sponsor, and it's such a thrill to get the letters in the mail and that sort of stuff. So actually going to visit them must be so life-changing. Yeah,
and it's when you write letters, it can be a bit hard because you're just like, what do I say, and is this real? But for them as well to see me as a real person, sometimes it's the same for the children, like they don't know whether we're real or not. And then when they see us, they were like, oh my gosh, these are real people.
That's awesome. Dami, how has your faith impacted your songwriting?
Well, I think my faith, you know, is a big part of who I am, and I guess, you know, at the start of my songwriting career, I thought, okay, I'm going to write songs to influence people, and I'm going to say this to people and encourage people, and I thought that it was all, you know, it's positive and good ambition to have, but then the more I write, I find that it's more about being true to, you know, I mean, just being vulnerable, I guess, and speaking the truth, what I actually believe in, and, you know, the thoughts that I'm having, and being really honest and vulnerable is more important than trying to just convey a message and convincing people of something. You know, I think it's more about sharing what's really inside my heart, and, you know, I think people can always tell whether you're just writing things that you don't mean, or whether you're writing something that you're truly, you know, connected with. And yeah, I guess that's been my challenge, and yeah, like something that I've really noticed and learned over the years that I've been doing it so far.
Well, can I just ask a side question to that? How does your faith play out in the mainstream media? I know I've noticed celebrities that have Christians or stuff over Journey have stumbled or stepped away from their faith. How do you keep that faith maintained as you're performing or in the limelight?
Yeah, it just like anything, any type of career, when you get busy and you're doing things and it takes over your life, like it just, you know, it is easy to lose touch with your faith if you're, you know, you're constantly disconnected from your family in Christ, and, you know, you're on your own in the world. Then it's like it's like a piece of firewood that's been left out on its own. It's going to die down very quickly. And so for me, it was learning, you know, like realizing, oh yeah, that's what could happen. And so I've been trying to, you know, find time to connect with my church family and stay close to them, and really, you know, ask them for prayer points, and yeah, just discussing everything. Not, you know, try not to be isolated on my own, because that's when you start to slip away, and, you know, you can't, I don't think it's possible to sustain a strong faith if you're out there on your own. So,
well,
yeah.
Thank you for that. Your latest song, which is called Crying Underwater, has just been released, and I noticed that you did a powerful performance that was broadcasted on the Loop on Saturday. You state that we're expected to look happy and that we are not allowed to discuss how we are feeling inside, or society doesn't allow that to happen. What would be your encouragement for a young person who's struggling with mental health?
Well, I wrote this song, Crying Underwater, you know, with my personal experience as well, and also other people around me, where I noticed that it's so hard, you know, when you're going through a tough time and you're feeling depressed for a long period of time, and it's really hard to talk to anybody that you feel that way, and we end up just putting on these masks and pretending like nothing's wrong, because I guess it's really hard to be vulnerable in front of people, even the ones you love and trust. So I felt like that personally, and also I know other people around me have been in that position. Some of them, you know, they didn't cope in the end, and, you know, horrible things happened. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a song about this, and that's how this song came about. And I guess to young people who may be feeling like they're crying underwater and feeling like nobody can see them crying, well, I guess first of all, for me, it was accepting that those different moods, the happy and the very sad, is part of being alive, you know. I go through phases of joy, but I go through phases of real sadness and grief, even when there seem to be not many reasons for that. So just accepting that and accepting that it's okay to be up and down at times that helped me a lot. And second thing for me was to be able to, find somebody who you really trust, and finding the courage to let them know that you're actually not fine, and talking about it. It really helped me feel a lot better and feel less hopeless and alone. So yeah, I guess I would encourage other people, to find that person and open up and try and have a conversation about it.
Such great advice. I think talking is such an important thing. It breaks so much stigma around mental health issues if we're open and willing to talk to people.
Yeah, and especially, many people go through it alone, and when you start talking about it, you realize other people might be going through something similar and they just don't know who they can talk to. So yeah, in that way you feel like, right, you're not the only person like that. And yeah.
Dami, with your song Crying Underwater, what was the challenges in writing this song?
I guess when I'm writing songs, the biggest challenge is being vulnerable about my feelings, and yeah, actually opening up about what I'm feeling on the inside and some of my thoughts. And yeah, I think I had to really break through that barrier at the start, and because it can be scary, like you're like giving people everything from your heart, and people could judge it however they like if it's out there. So that was my big challenge, I think.
What's the key message for you in that song Crying Underwater?
Well, like I said, I just wrote from a very vulnerable and honest place about how I felt, feeling like I'm sad but not being seen, and feeling like I'm crying underwater, literally. And rather than a message with the song, it's more like I'm hoping that people will relate to it. Some people feel a certain way and they find it very difficult to find words to describe how they're feeling. And I love it when I listen to a song and I go, oh my gosh, it's like that person read my mind. That's me. That's my story. So I guess that's the main thing that would make me feel like I've done my job, if somebody listens to it and feel like, it helped them communicate better and feel understood a little bit.
Awesome. If a young person wanted to get into the music business, what advice would you give them?
Well, I guess, I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just still figuring out as I go. But, I think it has to start from a real love of music. And, it's not an easy thing, I find, to be in this industry. It's very competitive. It's, there's so much pressure and, there's no guarantee about anything. But if you really love what you do, and how, for me, it's about singing and writing my songs, telling stories. That's what I love about it. So even if I'm very successful, or if I'm very not so successful with the numbers, and I get to play to a very small group of people, I would still be really happy that I get to do what I do. So I think you have to have that attitude. Are you prepared to do it, even if it's not, doesn't bring you fortune and fame? If, is it still something that you're passionate about, then I think you're half ready for the, all the things that's to come.
That's awesome. I think this is going to tie in with my next question. If you had access to a time machine and you could go back in time to speak to a young Dami, what would you say?
If I had a time machine, well, I guess I would tell her to not to worry about the future so much, because things will work out, and some of the things that you worry about, it won't even matter once once time goes by. So don't sweat the little things, don't sweat the big things, just keep doing what you're doing.
That's awesome. I'm going to go really off topic right now, which is going to be fun. I've noticed you're a foodie.
Yes, I am.
So am I.
Very much.
What is your favourite dish to create?
My favorite dish? Well, I'm Korean, so I love cooking every kind of Korean dish. But yeah, what do I love doing? Well, I love making Korean kimchi pancake.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, it's a savory pancake, and then you can put meat in it and kimchi, or you could put seafood, or you can make it vegetarian. But yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I feel like some Korean for dinner tonight now.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, that's all the time we have with you this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me on our breakfast show.
Thank you.
Dami's brand new song, Crying Underwater, is out now. We're going to play it for you now. This is Crying Underwater on More Music at Breakfast with Chris Judd on Youth Jam Radio.